Is the Kamloops real estate market crashing? If you've seen the January stats that just came out, you might think that things are slowing way down. Sales are down, the days on markets are up, and on paper, it looks like buyer demand has absolutely disappeared. But here's the truth. That's actually not what we're seeing on the ground right now. Today, I want to break down my January 2026 stats for the Kamloops Real Estate District and explain what the numbers actually mean, and more importantly, to tell you what's actually happening in the market right now. Hey everybody, Scott McDowell here with the Kamloops Home Team at Royal LePage Westwind Realty. If you're buying, selling, or watching the market closely, this update is super important because the stats and real-time activity are telling two different stories. All right, let's start with the numbers, and then I'll explain why they're misleading if you don't know the full context. For single-family homes in Kamloops, in January, the sales came in at 44 total sales, which is down a whopping 25.4% compared to the same time last year. The benchmark price is up to $660,000, which is actually up 5.1% year over year. So with fewer sales, the prices are still climbing in comparison. The days on market increased, but inventory dipped slightly, and that's very typical for the winter months, especially as we factor in December and the holiday slowdowns. So here's the key takeaway. Prices are holding and actually rising, even though the sales volume is down on paper. So what this actually tells us is that demand has never actually disappeared. It's just currently paused over the winter season here. All right, let's talk townhomes. Total sales for January 2026 totaled 13 total sales, which is actually down a whopping 35% year over year. The benchmark price sits at $486,000, down 1.6% compared to last January. In this category, we saw the largest pullback in both sales and inventory increases. But what we're seeing right now is that the buyer interest for townhomes is a little bit lacking because the buyers who are essentially priced out of the detached homes in 2024 and 2025 are starting to come back to the market, and the townhomes are basically the segment of the market that are essentially suffering at this time. Starting to see a lot of inventory over the past couple of weeks here, and that's actually not going to be reflected in January's sales and January stats, but we're starting to see a lot of activity in that kind of segment over the past couple of weeks. So February stats should be quite interesting in comparison to contrast to January stats. Now, condos and apartments tell a very different story as well. Sales came in at a total of 18 total sales, down 25% year over year, but the benchmark price here jumped to $386,000, which is up 8.3%. This is definitely the strongest for the price growth for all three categories. What this tells us is that affordability-driven demand is still alive, and especially when it comes to first-time homebuyers and investors. Okay, now this is the most important part of the video. These statistics are based on completed transactions or firm sales over January. So many of these deals were negotiated during the holiday season. They don't fully reflect January buyer activity. Okay, so this is what our team is actually seeing with actual boots on the ground right now. Our showing activity across all of our listings is up substantially compared to late 2025. We've recently been involved in 3 separate multiple offer situations, ranging from a house in Juniper, a newer townhouse, or even a condo in Sahali. All of our new listings has actually seen strong early traffic in comparison to what we saw late in 2025, and sometimes with tons of activity, even just days of hitting the market. The homes that we're seeing right now that are priced properly and show well are the ones that are seeing tons of activity, offers, and in some cases, some competition. The overpriced and underprepared homes are still sitting on the market, and the market is super decisive right now. And for buyers, this is your window. You're entering the market just before the spring competition fully kicks in, interest rates have stabilized, inventory is available, and the momentum is starting to build fast. But if you wait until the headlines start turning positive, you're going to start competing against more buyers, stronger offers, buyers up from the coast, investors are going to start rolling back in again. So the buyer who's fully prepared, fully pre-approved, and ready to move, this is the time now. So if you want some neighborhood-specific breakdown or just want to know what buyers are paying for homes right now like yours in your neighborhood, reach out to us anytime with the contact info in the description. Thank you so much for watching. We'll catch you on the next one.